What's up, Rockstars? Today I'm going to be telling you about perhaps a better alternative to Kickstarter. This is something brand new that I have never seen before, never shared before, that you really need to know. It's a completely new alternative to GameFound, to Kickstarter, Indiegogo, all that. This is so much different and has a lot of benefits to both consumers and creators. Before we dive into everything, a quick shout out. This actually came from you guys. This is a community-driven channel, as you guys know, and a lot of the things I get is because you guys just find some cool crap. I want to share it with you guys. This is actually from the Board Game Kingdom. It's a open Facebook group that you can join. Feel free to, whether you're a creator or a backer or anything like that. If you're passionate about board games, this is a group that you can participate in just fine. It's actually right here. So George over here actually submitted this and shared it, and I want to share with you guys. It's super cool. We're going to get into that. Also, of course, a shout out to Into the AM. They're not sponsoring this video specifically, though there is a 10% discount code always linked down in the description below for you. Apparently they have shorts now, and of course a ton of cool stuff, as you can see. Moving on from that, let's go ahead and just discuss it. This is Dust Runner, and it is a crowd sale. What is a crowd sale? This is on the Gamecrafter.com. Let's go ahead and take a quick peruse on the campaign page. I'm going to dive into it and what this is exactly in just a moment. So right now they're at $25,488.12 that they've raised. And there's only 2 days, pretty much 3 days, though by the time you get this, it'll be like, 2.5 days left. So feel free, again, this will be linked down in the description below. Go ahead and check them out. See if Dust Runner is something for you. It is a solo-centric game. All this comes in this little tin here, so you can take it on, on trips or camping or whatever you want to do, or just have a quick solo game. It looks actually kind of cool. It comes with even some minis and stuff. We'll be discussing all of that, of course. But as you can see, this looks a little different. Some of it's kind of similar. Some of it's kind of not. So let's discuss what this is. Well, actually, they have it right here. Under crowd sales, it says want to run a crowd sale for your game. Running a crowd sale takes all of the guesswork out of running a crowdfunding campaign. You bring the crowd and the game, and we'll handle all of the production, shipping, collection of payments, shipping info, and items ordered. Plus, we'll handle all the customer service if anything goes wrong. In other words, it is pretty much you bring the game and the people to buy it, and they will do everything else. Actually a pretty big tale to tell, and there's more information that you can go in here and talk about from a backer perspective or from a creator perspective. What I wanted to kind of show here is one of the interesting things that they do is right actually down here. There are no add-ons or stretch goals. The add-ons and stretch goals in a Kickstarter campaign are often hastily added and not well thought out. These are precisely the sort of things that can cause delays and bankrupt game designers. We'd rather that the buyers just get a high quality game for a great price, so we only offer discounts as stretch goals. That said, if you do have some add-ons you want to include in the sale, you can do so, but they must all be defined in our system before the sale begins. I'm going to explain that a little bit. Just know before going further, especially you creators are going to want to hear this, there is no split. The money you make is the money you make. They only make money on making the game. What you do when you enter this in is essentially you have to always have a minimum of $2 per copy profit. But what you do is you just said, hey, here's how much they're saying to make this game, it costs this much. And then you can say, okay, well, when one backer buys it, it's this much. But if 100 do, then it's this much. And you can keep going down the list until and you're making money all of the while because they're getting discounts too, so the cost per item is less each time, and the discount just keeps getting higher. So if we come back over here, you're going to see that actually they're at the 1,000 already here, right? Because 1,225 people have actually bought this. And so while the original price was $19.99, it's now $12.44 for everybody. You only get charged as a backer at the very end at the final price. So the more people that back it, the better the game does, the cheaper it is for everybody, including the manufacturer. There is no stretch goals, there's no scope creeps, there's nothing like that. When it says defined in the system, what the Gamecrafter is, what they have traditionally done before they added this crowd sale is make a game. A lot of the prototypes I have gotten have actually come from the Gamecrafter. So a lot of the ones you've seen are from them. They make cards, they make minis, they make tins, they make this, anything you could possibly want. If you are just prototyping, designing a game, you can get your components from these guys. So if you just need a whole bunch of different kinds of dice or a whole bunch of different cube things or meeples or whatever it is, they make it, they supply it. So for a creator, it is huge for that. This also means that essentially once you put all that into the system, they know exactly this is your game, this is how many cards it is, all the designs are final, this is what it would cost to print it, how much you want to sell it for. And then you just get whatever profit it is for that. It means your games are designed, it means your games are ready to go and ready to ship. In fact, if you look here, people, all the 1,000 plus people are going to get this game June 16th, 2023, somewhere around there. So very quick turnaround. 2023, I think I said that right. Very quick turnaround, because all they have to do is kind of get the logistics together and then print it and ship it, and they're done. It takes so much risk out of both sides. Backers now can just get their game quick. They know it's a fully designed game. Even the add-ons like a game mat or this tin helm and stuff like that are already done. They're already ready to go there. And what you see is kind of what you get. You'll be able to actually get the game and get it quickly. You won't be out of money for 3 years. The company isn't going to go out of sale. It's already all defined and already set up. Everything is hunky-dory. And as a creator, even if only one person buys your game, you gain, whatever you gained in the profit of that, that's fine. They'll make that and ship it to that person. You could run a campaign, and whether it's 5 people or 5,000 people, your campaign will be successful. So often I talk about how the idea that it has to go to China, that it has to do all this freight and all this crazy stuff, and you have to make the minimum viable, amount of the minimum quantity of 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever it is, and do a bulk thing of, well, we sold 1,800, so let's order 12,000 or 20,000. Or, like all of that is gone. You don't need a 3PL. You don't need any of that. They handle that. We're going to be talking about their advertising and all that kind of stuff in just a second, but really, it makes it to where if you've made the game, you can sell it. All you got to do is get the word out. All you got to do is bring the people. Everything else is handled. If you need an initial start at something, this is so huge, and everybody will get a good experience. There are updates, there are comments. You can do all sorts of stuff here, a lot like what you would gain from a big thing like Kickstarter. There's not as many eyeballs, and they talk about this if you actually read this all the way through. And again, I'm linking to all this, but they talk about how, like, yeah, there's more eyeballs there, but only if you get like really big and stuff starts, people like me start covering it and stuff like that, because, more articles are written and news things and all sorts of stuff, right? It's a little snowball effect. But there are plenty of people who fail to fund on Kickstarter. It's not like those eyes mean sales necessarily. You still got to have the thing. And there's still that risk, especially of the growing pains of doing all this. If you're just made a game, you want to get it out, this is actually kind of cool. They don't take the 10%. They don't do anything like that. Incredible stuff. And again, benefits to everybody. So going through here, you have to have a video, right? You get the description and all this kind of stuff. You can see how many have actually sold. So they have 309 people grabbing the game mat. Now for $14.24, originally was $24.99. The game mat looks super cool, by the way. Look at this thing. Like, that's actually a pretty legit game mat. And you can get that for less than $15. Definitely. I mean, why not? And the more people that are like, yeah, why not? The cheaper it gets. You're already saving $10.75 on it, and it just goes up. The idea of getting discounts for how big it is versus scope increase and scope creep, or badly balanced and not well-defined stretch goals, is huge, guys. This is such a better deal for everybody. We spend less. They don't have any added costs. They don't have the risk of going out of business and none of that stupid junk. You can still then take this and eventually get a retail partner. This could get you on the map to that. There's all that kind of stuff you can still do. Super cool to do. You can add more add-ons when you go to purchase. But for the campaign, you only get these 2 kind of big name things, like we can bundle it in here and do the price discounts and all that. Because again, they don't want you doing a whole lot of scope creep. But they offer obviously the gifts. You can see that you can do the videos and links and all that, and highlights to different things. Or that's the Tin Helm expansion thing going on there. When you go to check out, you can get all their past stuff. And again, it's print on demand. It costs this company nothing to offer this. There is zero cost to them because it's literally just profit. It's a lot like how my merchandise work. It's like, if you want a shirt, I didn't have to go hoard a whole bunch, do the upfront costs, and hope people buy them and store them in my garage. It's just printed when you do it. Is the price a little bit more? Yes, at first perhaps. But again, the discounts help with that. As long as you made a good game, you're going to get that discount, and people are going to be very happy with the price and what they get and the experience. You get a list of the components. This community verified thing, that is a required. It's kind of like how Steam does that. If you know what Steam is from Valve, it's a digital video game distribution thing. And they had this like green light process for a long time. I don't know exactly how it works right now, but for a while there, you had to essentially get like verified as like a legit thing. And so you can get that done. And then that's really it, besides putting your stuff in the system and setting the prices and all that. Just really cool to see. You have the remind me, by the way, that's still there. And I don't know if this is a 48 hour thing or not. I haven't tested that yet, but just really, really cool. If we go over to this, like I said, on here, not only does it say the buy with the updated price, so people can get this outside of your crowd sale. The crowd sale is just a way to crowdfund it. There's no need for like a PM or a pledge manager or anything like that because they'll always just print this on demand just fine. But during the crowds sale, they'll get bulk discount on the stuff that they're using, and therefore those savings then go on to consumer, and then you can sell more that way. So during the crowd sale, it'll do this. It has a big red banner saying, hey, you can save getting it now. They'll put this on the right here saying that, hey, there's a crowd sale. They'll total how much you're getting off and stuff like that. So all of that is already done for you. Here's the tin helm thing. Great art, by the way. This game looks like really like visually appealing to me. I love this stuff. This reminds me of like Cryptic Explorers, and that in a good way. So again, same kind of thing. You're going to get all of the stuff here. Hey, this is originally $20, now it's $14.06. You're saving $5.93 on this. And again, it just bases on how many people are actually doing that. Here's actually the Dust Runner. Even if somebody just searches your game and doesn't look at the crowd sale campaign, they can still see, hey, it's on sale. There's still a link to the crowd sale here. It's very obvious what it is, and they can see all the other stuff that you do, of course, just like normal. And actually, it looks like it adds a fair amount of the same stuff with the description and stuff like that. So very cool to see. Just a very neat idea and a lot safer for a lot of people. The shipping you see like during checkout, notice there was nothing up front, though I imagine you could put that up front perhaps. The thing is that, again, they're handling the shipping. So it's not like you really have too much control over that. It's just is what it is. It is printed in the US, which means for a lot of you in the US, really good shipping. It's not coming all the way from China. There's no freight. There's none of that you got to worry about. It's hunky-dory. If you're outside of the US, obviously, then that changes. Whether that changes as much as what we're paying these days from China, kind of hard to tell. Most of this stuff is a little bit smaller in that because of the smaller scope and all that. So a lot of it is just preventing you from buying too much. This is not Joan of Arc or something like that where it's going to take over a 4x4, Calyx shelf all on its own, just some hugely massive thing that weighs like 800 million pounds. This is something that's manageable, that hopefully you can play, delivers quick, at a good price. Very cool to see. You guys let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think about crowd sales? And do you think this is something that could take off? I think this has a much larger viable thing than some of the other ones we saw outside of BackerKit, GameFound, and Kickstarter, obviously. Kickstarter being the big one in campus. GameFound has their PM and a lot of their different like stretch, sales, and where you can pay for it monthly and stuff, that stretch pay and all that kind of stuff, and guaranteed shipping and all that. And then, of course, BackerKit has their preview pages that work really well in their PM. But honestly, I feel like this has a bigger viable thing than BackerKit, except BackerKit does more than just games. And, of course, you do have more options when it comes to what it is you're actually making when it comes to the materials and stuff like that. Nothing does beat the option of a free market over in China where you can use any manufacturer to make pretty much anything. So it's a little bit more limited here, at least for now. But super cool. Wanted to share this with you guys. And again, this is linked down below. Feel free to check it out. There's a few more. I mean, as you can see, there's anything and everything. This thing here, Race Pace, selling 4 copies, that's fine. Those 4 people will get their game. You now got your game on there, and then just make another crowd sale and keep, iterating on it and getting bigger and all that kind of stuff. There's the stuff coming soon, so you can see what's coming up. If you want an SCP, the board game thing going on, it's just whatever you make, you can get. Very cool to see, I think. Just super neat that they're doing that, and I think there's a lot of benefits there. Are there any cons? Of course, right? Like I said, you have less of options on what it is you're actually producing and making and stuff like that. And you do have a lot of the control taken away from you when it comes to like actually delivering it. Now, I view that as probably a good thing for most, especially at this scale. However, that is something to keep in mind too. It's not like you can really manipulate the sales to I want it to be cheaper for all Australians because that's ridiculous or whatever. So I'm going to offset it here. You don't really get all that. But that's because you're also not putting a lot of time in there besides the game. You don't really have to do so much on the campaign. You do have the updates, you do have the comments, stuff like that. But otherwise, you just make the game, bring the people, they'll make the game for you, pay you, and you get to have a successful delivery, successful campaign. Pretty darn cool, I think. I think it's pretty neat. Again, let me know your thoughts on that. And again, this is linked down in the description below. Guys, Thank you so much. I always enjoy sharing these kind of things with you, having a discussion about these things with you. I have another news video coming up. I have some updates for some previous coverage I've had, plus some brand new things, as always. So look for some cool minis, stuff like that's coming up next. Take care, guys.